Welcome back to Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. It's the Moto America AMA/FIM North American Road Race Championship, round 1 of 10th of 2017. This is the Championship of Texas, is what we're calling it. And fans are out in droves here for Moto America and a combined MotoGP weekend as they get to see the most talented racers in the world and right here in the United States go after it. And on track right now, doing a warm-up lap, is the Motul Superbike and Pizzazz Superstock 1000 race. A combined race here, Jason, with 20 people taking the grid.
Yeah, and you know, last year we said it a lot, but this year it seems, even after the tests and after our qualifying session, the field is so much closer together than it ever has been. Now, the guys up in the front of the Superbikes, they took advantage of their qualifying tires because of some of the advantages they have on their bikes a little bit more than the Superstock guys. That said, Bobby Fong qualifying 4th, kind of breaking up our top 4 aliens, if you will, yesterday, jumping in front of Josh Hayes, who was 5th. Watching morning warm-up this morning, Josh Hayes was quickest in the morning warm-up, and I know he's just been searching a lot for a field that he's been trying to get, as you can see the number 4 coming into our screen, along with Cameron Peterson there, Max Flinders. These are all guys that have obviously qualified for the race, but talking with Josh, he's been struggling a little bit. Josh Hayes during the offseason, and he's done a lot of work. He's come a long way with his team, and you just know he's going to be there at the end.
A lot of changes this year in the offseason to the Superbike rules as well. Teams getting a little bit more in terms of performance out of their motorcycles with the rules change, including the ability to change out the front forks. There's an onboard look at Cameron Beaubier. So our number 1 plate on the Monster Energy Yamalube Yamaha is going to have an onboard look for us. And this is out the back on the 24 machine of Tony Elias on the Yoshimura Suzuki. And he's looking at the 69 right now of Danny Eslick. So they're still on their warm-up lap. So onboard cameras here this weekend for round number 1. There's 2 races that we're going to run. So we have this Superbike race today, and we also have another one up in store for you tomorrow. So Tony Elias and Danny Eslick making their way to the grid right now. So a couple good shots for you. Out of the back of Tony Elias. Looks like he's running the Boba Fett helmet for this race. He and HJC doing a bunch of different themes during the course of the year. Boba Fett, that's definitely one of my favorites. That's a Star Wars reference, by the way. You were probably off playing golf or doing whatever you were doing when that movie came out.
I'm glad you explained that to me, Greg.
Yeah,
so
you're welcome.
That's good. And, I think that both Yosh bikes are great this year. They look fantastic. You see Raj is accented with the red, with the orange, and they did the yellow with Tony. It makes it a little easier for us to pick apart. We haven't really talked about Raj much, but I think it's a big step for Raj to come here and get pole. He looks really determined. He looks incredibly fit. He always has been the last 3-4 years, looked incredibly fit. But maybe, just maybe, he's tired of hearing about the other 3 all the time. And, he fell off at Laguna Seca last year to kind of take himself out of that race for the championship. I remember him skittering off into turn 2 there, and it kind of removed him. He had been there. Where Yoshimura team struggled last year was at the New Jersey round. But let's get on down to Hannah and see what Raj has to say. Hannah?
All right, guys. Well, I am down here with our pole sitter, Roger Hayden. Roger, this is your 2nd pole. You were on pole last year as well. What do you need to focus on to stay out in front this year?
I think just getting a good start and just doing my own laps, being consistent and staying smooth. The wind's going to be a little bit tricky, so take the first couple laps to fill that out and hopefully put this Yoshimura Suzuki on top of the box at the end of the race.
Now, you mentioned the wind's going to be a little bit tricky. The conditions are obviously much different than they were yesterday. Is that going to be a factor in your tire longevity today?
A little bit, just because it's kind of gusty. You don't really know which way it's blowing yet. So hopefully I can figure it out pretty quick, and I don't. When it's behind you, you can definitely get in the corner a little deep. So we'll take the first couple laps to try to fill that out and hopefully be there at the end.
All right, well, best of luck to you. Jason and Greg, back to you guys.
All right, thanks. What Roger was talking about is a change in direction. So now you have a tailwind on that back straightaway and heading into turn number 12. It kind of reminds me of when we used to go to Daytona, and when the entire field would go into the chicane, a lot of people would just be like, because they're not used to having, no wind helping to stop them. So we could see riders getting in a little deep into turn number 12 off the back straight.
And I think you will, because you're going to get a big drafting effect down that back straightaway. And I think if Cameron, Cameron's got to look at what he did last year in the championship. He didn't score in a couple of the first rounds that we had last year, Atlanta being one of them. Having some troubles here also last year. I think if he leaves Texas with a lot of points again, he's going to be tough. And let's get on down to Hannah again, who's with Cameron Beaubier.
Cameron Beaubier. He's sitting between the two Suzukis right now. How do you think your Yamaha is going to keep up with them under the conditions today?
I think we're in a good spot after practice and qualifying. Rod's threw in a really good lap on the queue, but I think that we have a decent pace on race tires. So just gonna go try to slot in and see what we're made of today.
What do you need to focus on to stay out in front of them?
Oh man, I think saving the rear tire is going to help quite a bit towards the end of the race, because yeah, it's 15 laps, but the lap times are over 2 minutes here, so I think that's going to be pretty critical, and we're going to be sliding around quite a bit towards the end of the race. So yeah, whoever's the bravest, I guess, will get it.
All right, well, that's our defending champ. Back to you guys.
8 race wins on the season for Cam Beaubier. He did bookend the season, though, with no point scoring, but he ended up winning that championship last year by 6 points, just 6 points over Josh Hayes, who was just a point ahead of Tony Elias.
And they may have seen some tire wear during the test that's telling Cameron that maybe the tire wear is going to be an issue. It'd be interesting to see, with it being a little bit cooler, to be able to look at Tony Elias there. It'd be interesting to see if the tires go away as much as they did when we had a lot more sun on the track. Right now, still overcast, has been all day. Kind of gray out there, and maybe tire wear will be a little bit different.
So Tony Elias always with a smile on his face, enjoying racing here in Moto America. And as always, Hannah's down there with Tony Elias right now. Hannah?
Thanks, guys. So, new bike, you're starting right on the front row with your teammate up there. What are you focusing on today, as far as the conditions are obviously much different from yesterday?
The temperature is much lower. We will see how react our bike. Roger, Cameron, George will be really strong. I will keep calm the first laps, because I felt the tires need some laps to get on temperature. But after that, I will try to be in the battle. We will see if we can do it.
So obviously, being on the new bike, there's been a lot of challenges in developing this. Do you think it's ready to go full race distance for the first race of the season? How are you feeling as far as the setup?
You never know, but I hope the work we did on race distance will be good. But yeah, we will see. For the moment, I'm happy. They are checking a little bit, because I felt something strange in the first 3 corners. I hope everything will be okay and no troubles.
All right, well, we will let you get to it. Jason, Greg?
It's funny, because as a rider, sometimes you might have a tire out of balance, you might have a wheel weight fall off, you might have a tire that didn't get beaded correctly. You feel that stuff on the warm-up lap or on a siding lap, and that's one of the neat things. We look at Bobby Fong, our leading super stock contender here right now, but when you think about it, Greg, when you feel something on a siding lap, we never used to have siding laps, it was only warm-up laps and go. So a siding lap can really help a team, because now they can go back and they can look and make sure things are where they need them to be as a crew chief. They want to make sure the bike, things are tight. See if they can see anything that's going to maybe help them get Tony's confidence back before the warm-up lap, because if not, it might be a case where he's going to have to get as good a start as he can, hang in there for a couple laps just to make sure everything's okay, and then go forward.
All right, let's go back down to Hannah, who has Bobby Fong, our 4th place qualifier.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Bobby. You are sitting 4th overall right now and 1st in your class. What is it that you need to focus on to really buckle down and keep up with the front pack?
Just ride my own race and not focus about these guys in front of me. Obviously, it would be good to get close to these guys and just latch on to them. But at the end of the day, I'm going to ride as fast as my motorcycle on the track will give me today. So we're a little nervous, but hell, I'm ready to get out there and get going.
All right. Well, best of luck to you. Thanks, Bobby. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Hannah. So Bobby Fong, we're going to see what kind of consistency Bobby Fong has, because in the conversation that we had with him, obviously Bobby said he can go fast 1 lap, but what's the consistency going to be like? And he's got a lot on it, because he won 2 Superstock 1000 races here last year. We'll take a break. More on the other side. Welcome back. The sighting lap is done. The interviews are over. And here's a look at the starting grid as riders head out on their warm-up lap. Upper left-hand part of your screen, Roger Hayden, 208.184. Then Cameron Beaubier and Tony Elias on the front row. Bobby Fong, who we heard from, sitting next to Josh Hayes, a multi-time champion. And then Kyle Wyman, who's out on a stock motorcycle after an incident earlier on. And then the red backing with those white numbers indicates our Superstock 1000 riders. There's Matthew Skoltz, Cam Peterson in his first time on 1000, and Jake Lewis on row number 3. Look for him. Hayden Gillum on the aging GSX-R 1000, not on the brand new bike. They have that bike, but they didn't get it ready in time. Jake Gagne on the Genuine Roaster Chicken Honda, and then Sylvain Barrier. Jason used to ride with him in World Endurance. And on back to the grid, we have Josh Herron, David Anthony, Danny Eslick, Bryce Prince, Tyler O'Hara, Max Flinders.
How deep our grid is, Craig. Some of these names are kind of on the back there. Anthony Kudzinski had a big crash the first day here. Matthew Orange, we saw him earlier in our coverage of the 600 race, hanging out in the paddock. But a couple guys I think we need to keep an eye on. We talk about consistent lap times. Jake Lewis has been amazing this weekend on that new Suzuki in the Superstock class. You can see Bobby Fong getting into turn 11, a little sideways on his first lap with Josh Hayden behind him. Jake's been riding really well. And let's get to our Kawasaki keys of the race, shall we? And start talking about some of the things. Suzuki, number 1 for me. I have to think about Suzuki first race on the chart here. How good is it right out of the box? Those guys, we saw what they did last year with an older and aging bike. I think second thing we got to look at with Cameron Beaubier and Josh Hayes, can the Yamahas go race distance and run with these two guys and prove to be fast at all of the tests? Cameron talked earlier about tire wear and things like that. We'll be watching him as we see Tony cruising around on his warm-up lap. Let's make sure he doesn't pull in the pits. And I think third, we got to look at this Superstock battle. Looking at the Superstock battle between Bobby Fong and Jake Lewis. And how about Cameron Peterson? First weekend on 1000. He's here. His dad's tuning for him. He does a 210.1, riding on that new Kawasaki also, as well as Matthew Skoltz, who was very quick here at the beginning of all the tests. So we're getting ready to see what the tone of the 2017 season is going to be set. I think we got 4 guys from last year that are very hungry. They all get along right now, but I think that can change as we start moving through the season, Greg.
So there you go, the Kawasaki keys to the race as Jason sees it, and the grid is forming up right now. And we are looking to see what kind of start can Roger Hayden get. Cameron Beaubier telling me before this race that his plan, as we look out the back of Tony Elias's bike, this is going to be a spectacular start. As we look at Josh Hayes, will Cameron Beaubier settle into a rhythm and see what the other riders are going to do and try to conserve that tire? We heard tire and tire over and over again as our safety vehicle comes up to the back part of the grid. Once we get the signal and the grid marshal takes that red flag off, that indicates to riders, you can see the steely-eyed look in Roger Hayden's eyes as the lights go on, and then they will go off. Here we go, Superbike race number 1, and we're off and running.
Rod's got a great start.
Bobby Fong looks like he got a little something going on the outside, but it's Roger and Tony with his foot down as Fong tries to swing around the outside. Whoa, onboard Elias, look how close Fong was, and he has to back off now, and he will be relegated back.
He's got Kyle Wyman behind him. Kyle got a good start. He's trying to run up underneath a couple of guys, and you can see it's hurt Josh Hayes back there in 6th. He's stuck behind a couple of Superstock guys, but right off the bat, Roger's done what we thought he might do. He's jumped out front. He's got his teammate right behind him who told us he was going to cruise a little bit, and I can already see in the background there in 6th or 7th, the guy coming from 13th spot, Josh Herron, has got about 6 flying laps all weekend on that motorcycle. That is it, maybe 5. So he's on his way forward too. So let's keep an eye out on what's going on back there. As we can see now, Cameron Beaubier trying to get himself underneath Elias into turn 11, and does so.
Good job by Cam Beaubier to slot himself in the second. Look at Bobby Fong as he takes a very interesting line. There is a rule, you can't go too far over to the right or else they will disallow that lap. So we'll see if Fong is in compliance there. As we continue this now, it looks like Tony Elias gonna fight right back on the brakes. That's his signature move as Hayes, with a miscue now, loses a couple positions on the number 4.
You can see a number of riders, Greg, like you stated at the beginning of the telecast, that would probably run wide down to turn 12. We saw a lot of guys running very wide out there. So let's just have a little recap. Great run here as you see Josh Herron go slide up underneath Bobby Fong in that tight left and see if he can square it up before they get to this fast right-hander behind the pits. It's a great lap. First flying lap for Josh. He's out wide though, Greg. He's really wide as Fong is able to get back underneath him.
Oh,
you see
Kyle
Josh
Wyman. Also, sorry, Jason,
Yeah, no
I saw
worries.
the 33 there get on the gas, and he went sideways and was able to save it as Wyman really turning the screws on his motorcycle, trying to stay with these factory bikes with a stock motor. So here we go. First run up the front straightaway. It's Roger Hayden, and a look over his shoulder is Tony Elias with a motion.
Yep, I don't know if he's signaling his crew or not really sure what that was for, but he's had a little bit of a gap. He's closed back up onto his teammate. Both those two guys got a little bit of a gap on Cameron Beaubier. You can see as they head down into turn 2 here. And what an impressive ride right now for Kyle Wyman. He lost his A motor in the very first session of the week and put in his stock R1 motor. And he told us, yeah, he's going to have a new motor coming Tuesday for a Road Atlanta. But right now he's doing a good job. And he's got 4-time Superbike champion Josh Hayes kind of up right behind him. But Cameron Beaubier has managed that gap back down to the Yosh guys.
It is Roger Hayden on the Yoshimura Suzuki leading the way from Tony Elias, his teammate, who won both races here. With Cameron Beaubier hounding him, this is what Roger Hayden needs, Jason. I think at this point, he needs Beaubier to throw some shots. As it looked there for a moment, that Tony Elias is going to make a move. Oh! And it looks like Josh Hayes and Kyle Wyman getting together.
Yeah, that looks like it's right at the top of the hill, Greg, up right at the top of the hill before you go down that fast downhill part over turn 9, I believe it is. And yeah, I don't know what happened there, but it looks like two guys probably got together. And Josh trying, like he always does, trying to get himself back in the race, try to get himself some points.
Hayes won this championship many times, and he's trying to figure out if he can get his bike back going. Every point makes a difference, as he knows, as he only beat Tony Elias by 1 single point in that championship and only lost it by 4 last year. So
you didn't really get to see a good comparison down the back straightaway between these two Yosh bikes and that Yamaha because we had to cut away to that incident. But you can see that the order has stayed the same. And you know, for me, it's going to be a question of when Tony decides to have a little bit of a fight up with his teammate here. How much is Raj going to fight back? You see Cameron getting a little bit antsy back there in third, had a little bit of a look, a little bit of a test run to that last corner. We're only on lap 2 of 15 to start the season, so everybody's kind of just feeling each other out a little bit.
You know, Cameron Beaubier told me that he thinks the race strategy is going to be go out for the first couple of laps and just throw it down and then let things settle down because they are concerned about tire wear. You can see on the top part of your screen towards the middle, it's 15 laps scheduled. These Superbikes really throw a beat into these rear Dunlop tires, especially with some of the rule changes that they have now. They're allowed big, full Superbike swing arms and front ends of the motorcycle as Hayes back circulating the racetrack. We'll see if everything's okay. This is where it can get a little dicey for a rider though, Jason, right? You're trying to figure out what's working and what's not.
Yeah, here we go. Looks like Kyle, Kyle loses the front right in front of him. You know, I was just going to say it doesn't look like much is wrong with Josh's bike. That's as innocent as it comes. I feel horrible for Kyle Wyman. Can't tell if he caught the curb there, but Josh was just far enough right there that he couldn't do anything about it. Kyle took a big hit riding in with that bike into the wall. His bike did also, so that's a shame there. Hopefully he's going to be okay.
Kyle Wyman, of course, privateer team owner is Wyman, and he rides for the Motivation USA Lucas Oil KWR. He's out of New York, so Wyman now, oh, and here we go. It's a pass for the lead, and Elias gets it done. Easy to distinguish those two motorcycles now. Elias, look at those front fenders of Roger Hayden. He has those orange highlights, and Elias with those yellow. That's how you're going to be able to tell all year. So Elias has had enough of his teammate leading. Keep in mind, Elias showed up here in race number 1, won it by 1.4 seconds, and in race number 2 over 4. So this track really suits Tony Elias' style, as he has known to be a demon on the brakes.
You're exactly right, and it's going to be interesting now to see if Cameron does anything with Raj as they go into the last corner. You can see Elias is already starting to manage that gap a little bit, and Cameron is going to try to start working on Raj as quickly as he can. This is where I wanted to see if, we saw that Raj was able to run a good pace in testing, he was able to run a good pace in qualifying. He backed up his lap times in the test, in qualifying yesterday, and I want to see if he can hold on to the back of Tony now. Obviously, Tony doesn't have any problem with his bike like he was worried about, but how about this guy in fourth? Bobby Fong is just hanging out there in fourth on that 1000 Superstock bike. He's kind of like what we thought. We were gonna talk a little bit about some things with Bobby.
I just want to make a note that the fastest lap of the race so far is set by Bobby Fong at a 2:10.304. That is about 64 hundredths of a second quicker than Tony Elias's fast lap that was set on the last lap. So it's Bobby Fong on a Superstock 1000 Kawasaki that has laid down the fastest lap of the race so far. How crazy is that?
Well, this goes to show how good these bikes are when you come off the showroom floor. And when you put an excellent rider, you see Cameron's going to try to do something here with Raj before they go onto the back straightaway. He slides underneath Raj there. Now Raj is wise to get in the draft of that Yamaha so that he can do something back. And this is going to be another fast lap for Bobby Fong, I believe, Greg, because already it looks like he is getting closer and closer to these guys. I wouldn't be surprised if these two guys, Raj and Cameron, get into a little scuffle down here at the end of the back straightaway, which they don't. Raj pulls in behind Cameron and is going to try to get drawn up to his team.
24 Tony Elias, number 1 Cameron Beaubier, Roger Hayden on the 95, back there on the 50. Quicksilver latest motorsports Kawasaki rider Bobby Fong. That is a Superstock 1000 machine. Oh! And it looks like Beaubier is down. So Beaubier chasing after Tony Elias. If he can't get that motorcycle up, you can see the kitty litter there. This will be a repeat of last season.
Wow. And this is something we haven't seen from the Yamaha guys. And I think, honestly, Greg, that the Suzukis have just shown that they're going to be very strong. These guys are going to have to push really hard. Obviously, Josh Hayes did nothing wrong in his incident, but you can see Cameron just so simple. Loses the front end in turn 13 there. We've seen that a couple times.
And Roger had to check up, and Bobby Fong was within a bike length. So Cameron Beaubier now fired up. I mean, we're talking about right now, Bobby Fong is in a podium position as he still owns the fastest lap of the race at this point. Does Bobby Fong. So now Tony Elias really having it his way. One thing to note though, Jason, we had a conversation with Bobby Fong about what's going on with the Quicksilver latest motorsports Kawasaki. Last year, Bobby Fong was a slow starter, but he would really start to hammer it towards the end of the race. The bike worked really well on a lower fuel load, and the way the tire wear was, he said this year, with an improvement, they actually found 6 foot-pounds of torque in the off-season, some extra horsepower. It's exactly the opposite. So you know it's going through his mind, these beginning laps, lap 5. As we start to get later on, we'll see if the setup changes they made to this race are going to help Bobby Fong.
Yeah, you know, where does it come a point where Bobby says, wow, I can actually compete in this race against these super bikes, but he's got a bit of a lead right now over Matthew Stoltz of, let's see, Greg, he's got a little over he's got 8 seconds, I believe, over the second place Superstock bike.
Yeah.
So look at it, he's got the super bike right in front of him. So Bobby's going to have to play some things in his mind here of what's most important here, winning this championship or actually trying to be the first Superstock guy that could actually take a race win here.
So Tony Elias continues to lead the way over Roger Hayden, Bobby Fong, Josh Herron in 4th, Matthew Stoltz in 5th, Jake Lewis, 11.1 for him. So Lewis is on the charge right now trying to chase down Stoltz. Then it's Jake Gagne on that super bike, that Honda CBR 1000RR, genuine roasted chicken. Sylvain Barrier having a good run in 8th over Danny Eslick and David Anthony. There's your top 10.
So there you go, and all through this little section here, I'm looking at the last lap. He backed his 2:10.304 up with a 2:10.4. Only guy faster than him on that lap was Tony Elias, and now it looks like Raj is starting to close the little gap back up to these guys. So
could this be the fastest lap of the race as Roger Hayden starts to close the gap down to his teammate? Here we go, onto the front straightaway. Roger Hayden trying to sniff a draft of Tony Elias. As they come by, Roger Hayden, fastest lap for him at a 2:10.4.
There you go. So he's not ready to let this guy get away.
Tony.
Just a little bit wide. You can do that up in turn 1, Greg. It's a slow corner. You miss the apex there, it's not such a big deal before you hit that uphill. And you can see now Schultz and Jake Lewis both have caught up to the back of Josh Herron, who's doing an amazing job, if I might, Greg. I have been a little bit involved down there, watching what's going on with this team. Richard Stamboli, Gary, and all the boys down there working in that Mean Motorsports trailer have been working extremely hard. There's been a lot of frustration, but for Josh to be running 4th right now, after starting 13th, missing out on Super Bowl yesterday, all that team can do is get better from this point forward.
Josh Herron relocating to California now. It looks like Roger Hayden has really closed the gap on Tony Elias. And look at Bobby Fong, Enzo. Come on.
Bobby Fong is probably just going, come on, guys, please. Just get in a tiny little battle.
Just get in the battle.
Just so that I can get closer.
Just give me a couple tenths. That's all I need. Bobby Fong, who did the double here last year, very first time on the Quicksilver Latest Motorsports Kawasaki DX10R. Still looking for support from Kawasaki. A good onboard shot from Tony Elias. And of course, the way those onboard cameras are, oftentimes they look a little bit further back. But it looks like Bobby Fong has lost a little bit of touch in that last section. So still, this could be that point in the race where Bobby starts to feel the bike moving around a little bit more and the performance dropping off a smidge.
And it's not just that, Greg. I'm sure that his team is giving him a plus to Matthew Schultz, who's behind him. And I believe there's going to come a point where you go, okay, I'd really love to go chase these guys, and I'm here, but I've got a 8-second lead on second place, essentially. I can still be on the podium with the Superbike guys as the top 3 person up on the podium, and I can win my class. That's not a bad way to start 2017.
No question. This is a carrot that's dangling in front of Bobby Fong. And if he really felt that he could win the race, I think he'd push the issue. But at this point, Bobby Fong's championship is the Pizzazz Superstock 1000 class, a race within the race. But Roger Hayden, there is no question that he wants to let his guy get away as Matthew Schultz on the Amalu Westby Racing Yamaha now makes his big move past the Superbike of Josh Herron. And now Josh Herron's going to come under fire from the 85 machine of Jake Lewis on the M4 X-Star Suzuki. That's one of the brand new ones. That's a huge story in this offseason. That Suzuki finally came out with a brand new GSX-R 1000 RR and a 1000R, and they have shown to be spectacular. Now these bikes you're looking at, when you look at the Yoshimura Suzuki or the M4 X-Star Suzuki, they haven't even had a launch, a press launch yet in the United States. That's coming up at the beginning of May right here at Circuit of the Americas. As we move back up front to the Yoshimura Suzuki team, it's 1-2, and this is what a lot of people at Yamaha were fearing was going to happen in the first race of the season.
Yeah, but I don't know if they were worried about it happening the way it was going to happen. To see both of their stars go down in the first sort of 3 or 4 laps here. We're keeping kind of an eye back there. Cameron's running 2:11.7. Josh is running 2:11.7. So both those guys are back up, and they're going to gain some points as they come through the field here. The good news is neither bike was that badly damaged. Josh was in the barriers for a little bit longer than Cameron.
I know it's the first race of the season, but we've seen this championship come down to just a handful of points. Only 6. I said 4 earlier. It's 6 points that Hayes lost the championship to his teammate Beaubier. In this championship, we only pay back to 15th spot, which is where Cameron Beaubier is right now. Hayes out of the points in 18th.
Yeah, but the good news is they both still have quite a few laps. They're going about 3 to 4 seconds. Josh's pace, even 7 seconds. Guys in front of him. And he's at least going to get back up to 6 pretty quickly. And then it's going to be having to catch up to a couple of other guys to see what happens. So, again, going back to the front here, you can see Tony, that last lap, 2:10.4. 2:10.3 by Raj. Raj's quickest lap of the race was that last lap.
Actually, Jason, last time by the stripe, 2:11.2 for Tony, 2:11.2 for Roger Hayden, a 2:10.9 for Bobby Fong. So Fong has picked up the pace a little bit as well, and Tony has dropped it. Now, again, it seems that the strategy is going to be settle this race down in the middle, see how things go, and then you're going to see, depending on how much tire wear is left, a mad scramble to the finish line with Just a couple of laps remaining. Tony Ilias now hard on the brakes. Little bit of movement out of the rear end of that motorcycle.
Bobby's there again. You know, I can't help but think he's got to be thinking, I want to win the race overall. You just got to start thinking that way. This is going to be a great test for him and that team. Robert Gordon, all the guys have been doing a great job down there, getting the ZX10 even better together. But you see Raj is starting to get a little bit antsy. These guys coming down to turn 11. But Bobby has closed the gap. He's staying consistently in the 10s. And we saw the two leaders here drop back into the 11s that last time. So let's see if that trend continues as we get further through this lap.
A telling tale of the difference between a Superbike and a Superstock 1000 the last time around that back straightaway. Bobby Fong right now is riding so hard in and through the corners to stay with these full-blown factory Superbikes. I am a little concerned about the tire wear on that Superstock 1000 machine, but Bobby Fong knows what he is up against. It's Elias, Hayden, and Fong. Two Superbikes followed by a Superstock 1000 machine. Look at Fong riding the wheels off of that Quicksilver latest Motorsports Kawasaki.
Let's not forget that Kawasaki's pretty good, Greg. It's won the last 3 World Superbike Championships.
No question.
So, you know, that's one of the biggest reasons that we really want to see Kawasaki get back involved. And, you know, if you're going to do it, you do it with a rider like Bobby Fong. He's doing a tremendous job. The team is not getting much help. And they're really got some great resourceful people down there. We were lucky enough to do a little previous show kind of in that area. Talk to a few of the guys, and the information we got from Bobby was one that basically told you that, you might see me fall back a little bit in the middle. And maybe he's found a way, or that team's found a way to keep that motorcycle in there for a little bit longer.
Bobby Fong with about a 7.9 second lead over Matthew Schultz, who's in 4th place and is the 2nd place rider in the Superstock 1000. So right now, Josh Herring, now keep in mind what we do in terms of podium is we do an overall podium and a Superstock 1000 podium. So look at Fong.
Wait, what's he? I keep on thinking to myself as he comes into turn 11, he seems to really close up on these guys in the first half of the lap. Then he seems to lose a little bit here down the back straightaway. And it's hard for him to work that up until he gets back up to turn 1. But all it's going to take is for Raj to pull up alongside Elias. And next thing you know, Bobby's going to be sitting there right there. He might. Both these guys are backing it in. Both these guys are a little bit wide at the bottom of turn 11. Both of them got a good drive out of there, but you can see that gap, a little bit of a gap. And then, literally, from the time they come across start finish line, Bobby starts moving that gap back in.
Tony Elias, Yoshimura Suzuki, qualified 3rd quickest, leading the way. Here's a replay of the start. This is how it all got started, and Roger Hayden just nailed it.
Just nailed the start. You can see Tony getting up there in 2nd. Bobby didn't want to take any time getting balked up in the middle there, and you can see he got up there in 3rd with Cameron just in front of him, and then Cameron was able to shove his way through the 3rd, and he looked so comfortable just kind of being on the back and then following these two Yoshimura Suzukis until his incident. Coming back on the front straightaway. Here you go again, Greg. Keep an eye on those lap times to see what they're doing.
Lap 10 of 15 complete, and the front runners drop down into the high 210. So it's 210.8, 210.9, 210.9 for our leaders. Just to give you an idea, Matthew Schultz in the 11s. Even Cameron Beaubier, who's now worked his way up to 13th quickest. Here's Jake Gagne.
Love seeing him back out here.
Love it.
Love seeing him doing.
How about this guy, Jason?
Sylvain Barrier doing a good job again, and he's got. Looks like he's got Bryce Prince right behind him, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. It looks like Danny Eslick actually.
So it's Elias, Hayden, Fong, Schultz in 4th, Herron in 5th spot, Jake Lewis in 6th, Jake Gagne in 7th, Sylvain Barrier in 8th, Danny Eslick in 9th, Hayden Gillum up to 10th with Bryce Prince right behind, Tyler O'Hara, Beaubier up to 13th, Max Flinders in 14th, Kaczynski, our last points pair, Josh Hayes hanging around in 17th spot, and of course Kyle Wyman retired from the race after that crash. David Anthony in 18th spot. Yep.
Josh was running 16th and still chasing Cameron. Now Kaczynski's in the 15th seat. Let's have a problem. You see, Roger's starting to get a little bit closer with 5 laps to go. Try to start to apply a little bit of pressure. Look how good Tony's bike gets out of the little first gear corners there. Really, really good. Raj have generally been a little bit tighter through here. You can see he's a little bit tighter through that little long right than is Tony. So both these guys, even the electronics, Greg, sound different on the bikes this year. These bikes are completely different than what these guys have been in the past.
I asked the Yoshimura Suzuki crew what carried over from last year to this year, and they said the brand of zip tie. That's it.
And that is it. Because going out there and listening to the bikes, they sound significantly different than they did last year. The electronics are very, very quiet. You can't hear them as much. They finally broke Bobby Fong. So look at this lap time.
Yeah.
I can see that Roger did the fastest second split of the race. So Roger's right there. My big concern right now is out of the really slow, tight first gear corners, Roger's bike doesn't jump out of them quite as quickly as Tony's does.
Roger Hayden trying to get that thing slowed down. That bike was all over the place when he snatched that brake lever, but he's able to hold it down. Bobby Fong in third spot. Now Bobby Fong 1.3 seconds behind Roger Hayden. So Fong's starting to lose touch just a little bit. He did in a 211.2 versus the front runners in the 211.7 for Elias, 210.7, 210.5 for Roger. So that last lap by Roger Hayden was 2/10 quicker than our leader, Tony Elias.
All through this section, if you listen, when they go through here, these guys are in second gear. They do one upshift out of this left. All the Yamaha Superbikes things we're going up to is we got to look at Cameron Beaubier running up the front straightaway here, and I don't see anybody up in front of him. The next guy he's going to come across is Hayden Gillum, and that's going to be a tough one for him to catch. It looks like he's quite a ways back, and Hayden's obviously a very fast rider.
12 seconds actually, Jason, you called it. 12 seconds the gap between Beaubier and Hayden Gillum. So with the laps winding down here, they're long, but still less than 4 laps remain in this race for Cam Beaubier. However, you have to say that Beaubier is now up to 11th. That's at least pays 5 points in this championship. And we can't stress the points battle enough as we've seen it come down to 1 point. Last year, 6 points. I mean, it is absolutely incredible after the amount of races that we have at the end of the year, how close the points are. Tony Elias, double race winner here last year. The story was incredible. Jake Lewis, who is in this race riding for the M4 XR Suzuki team, was the factory Yoshimura rider. He was injured. They called up Tony Elias, got him off the couch 2 weeks before we came here last year, and he showed up and he's done the double. We talked about it earlier in the broadcast. Elias really raising the performance, the level of riders here when push comes to shove. These American riders that we have, Roger Hayden, Cam Beaubier, Josh Hayes, really elevated their game. And this is where we are right now as Tony Elias continues to lead the way.
You can see even in that last turn, Roger's braking so deep that his bike doesn't get out of the corners as good as Tony's. And that's going to be a big teller, even if it comes down to the final lap of the race. Roger's got to try to get close enough to do something with him at the end of the back straightaway, in my opinion. Tony has a way of just running kind of a wide track. As tiny as Tony is, he runs a pretty wide racetrack. Yeah. And Roger's going to have to, all through this section, especially the first 2 segments, looking at the second times, Roger's had the first 2 sectors pretty well covered. He closes back in pretty well through here. But he's got to be able to try to get on the back of Tony as they come out of turn 11. Now we're coming into that section now where we saw, this is turn 9, turn 10, they're going to go up to 3rd. Down this big steep hill, I want to pay attention to how good Tony's bike gets out of turn 11 compared to Raj right now.
Well, we talked about one rider that has retired. There's been 2 out of this race. Matthew Orange is out, but Kyle Wyman, who is involved with an incident with Josh Hayes, is with Hannah. Hannah?
That's right, guys. I'm down here with Kyle Wyman. Kyle, you crashed. You know, we saw you went down. Tell us a little bit about what happened.
Yeah, you know, just up there in the front group and running with the front guys. And, you know, when you want it that bad, sometimes things happen. And, you know, fortunately, I'm okay. Took a spill there and hit the wall. So, you know, Josh running into me and everything. Hopefully he's good. I'm sure he is. But, yeah, just a tough way to start the season. But, you know, I'm pretty happy with how quick we've been running. And for the Motivation guys and the Lucas Oil guys who stepped up this weekend, I just can't thank them enough for giving me this opportunity. And I'm a little sore, but we'll see what we can do tomorrow.
All right, well, we're glad to hear you're okay, and he's going to give it a second shot tomorrow. Guys, back to you.
All right, Motivation USA, Lucas Oil, KWR rider. That was
you
Kyle
see Tony's
Wyman.
bike right there?
Yeah.
Tony's bike is, there seems to be a bump if you get into that turn 19 area, a little bit tighter with some pretty heavy bumps in there. And Rogers really, right now, starting to apply the pressure. Getting back to that Kyle Wyman thing, the poor kid's got no luck here. Last year we saw his bike on fire.
Yep.
And he's been riding tremendous. So
and an horrible test here as well. They didn't test very well.
Blew a motor here on Thursday. So, he's very resilient. He's working hard on his own program and running in front. So hopefully they get that bike back together and get him on track tomorrow.
If they get everything working right the way he wants it to, don't be surprised to see a rider like Kyle Wyman in the mix right up front with these guys. So it's a Yoshimura Suzuki battle right now with 3 laps to go. Here's another look at Toni Elias and what's going on with his motorcycle. Look at that thing.
Coming up into turn 1, you can see it. If you really pay attention, I always like looking at the front tire profile and how flat it gets when they get up that big steep hill. But great work again by our camera guys, getting a nice tight shot. But Roger's really applying the pressure right now. He realizes if he's going to make this work, he's got to make it work now.
And Roger also knows, after racing a year with Toni Elias, how aggressive Toni can get when Toni wants to win. So Roger right now is just going to school.
That's the best drive Roger's got out there behind him. So let's see now. He's in the draft, Greg. He's got a run on him coming down into here. Now, not going to go by him. I really felt like he had a really good run on him. You can see him almost backing off, almost as if that was a test run. But he backed out quite a bit, and Toni was able to gap him a little bit more than I expected. He made Roger have a really good run.
Sometimes, Jason, we've seen him before rolling up that throttle ever so slightly, maybe Roger Hayden. And that was the test, like you're saying. But we all know how tiny Toni Elias is, not only from a weight standpoint, but he really is able to get behind that bubble.
No question. And really, to be honest with you, so is Roger. Roger's really skinny now and has been. I mean, his workout regimen is incredible. Both these guys are incredibly fit. But right now, Roger's bike looks a lot better than his Toni's. Roger's bike is a little bit easier to ride. So maybe that, like I said, Ray, that could have been a test run going down the back straightaway. Maybe he doesn't want to get into a fight with him. He wants to just surprise him going to that last line.
Cam Peterson also out of the race, a disappointment for Cam Peterson in his first Superstock 1000 race. Peterson on the Fly Racing Motul ADR Motorsports bike will be back in action.
Opens up. Roger close it up all the way through this S section. You'll see if you look at that gap, he'll close it all the way up through here. Now what are we going to see? Look at the tire coming off of Tony's bike. That's what's going on the right side. Toni Elias' bike. He's losing a lot of rear tire grip.
That's normal. It didn't look like it chunked.
Nope.
I mean, that's just the way it wears, and we've seen it on the racetrack before. You get out into some hills and off the racing line, and this is a very interesting weekend as well because you have two different manufacturers of rubber on the racetrack at the same time. I mean, you have Dunlop in Moto2 as well, but concentrating on this race, we're getting ready to take the white flag. Roger Hayden he's got his plan. His plan is in his head, and he knows what he's got to do. The question is, can he execute? And has Toni Elias been playing a little cat and mouse with it?
It's hard to say, but Tony's turning in earlier into 11. You can see him going down the back straightaway on the left-hand side of the track. Roger looks like he gets a better drive now, and you can see his bike is backing in both directions now as Roger a little bit. They're starting to get serious here on the last couple laps. And Roger, if he's going to do it, he's got to get close enough through those S's in order to set something up going down that back straightaway. I believe is the only way that he's going to be able to do something with Toni. Tony's really good at running defensive lines. And all through this section, I really believe Toni sets his bike up in a way where he can be really good to be defensive towards the end of the races. I saw it all last year too, where he's able to get into corners tight, release the lever, carry that little bit of mid-corner speed that he needs to really deter anybody from going up on it. But you can see the bike moving around.
A lot of movement going into that corner, but that's the way Toni likes to ride it. I mean, he's used to it, coming Moto2 world champion. Those Moto2 bikes move around a ton.
Absolutely.
A lot of faith in the Dunlop tires.
I see Roger's a lot closer this lap as they come across to start their final lap of the race. And the thing that you're going to recognize is he's going to be really close to Toni all through these S's. It's going to come off the back straightaway, Greg. That's what it's going to boil down to. It's who can get out of turn 11 the best and get through there.
Also, look at the race lines of Toni Elias. If Toni starts pole putting, hugging those inside lines, you know that Tony's left vulnerable. If he's taking his normal race lines, I think he thinks he's got it in the bag. Further on back through this field, Jake Gagne has gotten around Josh Herrin, so now Gagne on the Genuine Roaster Chicken Honda is the third of our super bikes in the field. And Cameron Beaubier up to 9th, and Josh Hayes in the 15th spot in a points-paying position on this final lap. So here we go. It's go time for Roger Hayden. Will Roger settle for second spot? Or will he push the issue? Oop, a little wide for Tony Elias.
You see, he's in deep, and Roger's having a look. But now he's got to get off of this corner with him. And look, so Tony's able to get the bike slowed down.
Yeah.
And his drive out of there in that gear. And I don't know if they're running the same gear or not. Rod is going to sniff the draft, but it's going to be too late, Greg. It might be down in the braking zone.
Is your heart pumping? Because Roger Hayden's going to try something desperate. He's trying to go up the inside on Tony Elias. Can Hayden get that bike slowed down? No! He gets it stopped. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be the race. Like you were saying, Jason, he just didn't have enough. He threw a Hail Mary at him, but no Doug Flutie for Roger Hayden this time.
I'm proud of Raj. All last year we sat in these chairs going, man, is Raj going to make a move? He tried. And the thing for me right now is that Raj wants this championship. He wants to win races this year. He's not going to settle. That said, Tony Elias has ran a tremendous race out front. If that Yoshimura team watches any of this, which you know they're going to, and they're watching it right now, a little bit of direction change, like coming into this next lap, with the bikes moving around a little bit more, that's going to be something they can work on and try to fix. But Tony Elias looks like 3 for 3.
A masterful race. And he's going to know the shot that Roger Hayden threw at him, that this is all he needs as he comes to take the checkered flag. And Tony Elias with another victory, going 3 for 3 here at Circuit of the Americas. And look at Bobby Fong with a wheelie, well, kind of a wheelie.
That wheelie control makes those celebrations a lot harder. So I wish there was a way you can just disconnect it right quick. Matthew Schultz coming home second and 4th overall.
Wow.
Tremendous effort. How about Jake Gagne? Great to see Jake Gagne back. Finishing 5th overall, 3rd Superbike.
3rd Superbike for Gagne. Lewis in the books, and a good job by the Mean Motorsports crew. They went race distance, so that'll be a lot. Here comes your number 1 plate, Cam Beaubier. Beaubier will bring it home in 8th spot and gather up 8 points for his effort if he can hold on this last corner. Good effort by Cam Beaubier to pick up his motorcycle and continue on racing.
Last year he scored 0 points, I believe, in the very first race. So as bad as that was, he's got some points, and you know he's going to be there. And I think, you know, he's ready to put up the fight with these 2 of those bikes also. But what, you know, Tony Elias has done is being able to come in here. You have to check me on this, Greg, but I believe that's the GSXR 1000's first win worldwide, other than Richard Cooper won over at BSB.
In Superstock 1000. So
exactly.
As far as we know, unless there's another race going on, it's the first Superbike race win in a premier class worldwide for the GSXR 1000, done by Yoshimura Suzuki. Leading the charge, by the way, with Yoshimura Japan on development of this Superbike. Congratulations to that team going 1-2 in the debut of the GSXR 1000 RR in Moto America competition. Wow, that was a great race. Roger Hayden, I'm sure, is going to go back with a lot of notes. Well, hope your hearts calm down. We're going to take a break. On the other side, we'll talk to these guys and see how it was for them. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Circuit of the Americas, where Superbike race number 1 of the Moto America Championship is in the books. And now, hold your hats, folks. We're going to go down to Parc Ferme, where Hannah has our 3rd place overall finisher on a Superstock 1000 bike. It's Bobby Fong.
That's right, guys. I'm down here with Bobby Fong, 3rd place finisher, 1st place in Superstock 1000. You actually had the fastest lap of the race as well. How are you feeling right now? What an awesome way to start your season.
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. You know, I got to give it up to my Quicksilver Latest Motors crew. You know, my whole crew has been working so hard. And, you know, we deserve to be up here. You know, we put in the work, and all I wanted to do was be on TV. So I accomplished that goal. But, you know, we're just going to keep on moving forward. We got another race tomorrow. And it's never over. The work never stops, but we'll just keep pushing. But I'm excited to be up here.
Now, the conditions might be a little bit different tomorrow. The weather's going to be different. What's the strategy as far as that goes to get back up on the box?
You know, want to make a few changes. I felt like we could have gone a little bit better, at least at the end of the race. So the conditions will be different. It's a new race, and we'll just give her hell again.
All right, that's our third place finisher. Greg, Jason, back to you.
All right, thanks. Congratulations to Quicksilver Latest Motorsports
Congrats.
Kawasaki's Bobby Fong out of Stockton, California. Now actually living in the Midwest
So
in
stoked for him,
Wisconsin.
man. He's such a good guy, and he works hard. And you know, we've kind of watched him come through the 600s. He's on Triumphs and some and Ducatis and some other things, I think, in the past.
Yeah.
And kind of a journeyman. You know, he was kind of just trying to look for rides, find things, put things together. And it seems like he's found a home here with Lattice Motorsports, and the team's done a great job taking the ZX10 and Superstock bike. And I mean, when you look at what one team there is spending compared to the team next to it, it's pretty incredible what Bobby Fong's doing on it.
All right, let's go back down to Hannah, who has our second place finisher.
That's right, guys. I'm here with Roger Hayden. Roger, really awesome way to start your season. Obviously, the two Suzukis went 1 and 2. You're off to an awesome start. You really fought Tony hard for that. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was a good race there with Tony. I knew, or I felt like if I was in front of him on the last lap, he would try me and after the back straightaway. And I kind of thought to myself that's where I would try it. The last lap, I kind of set myself up. 2 laps ago, I felt like I got a good run, so came up a little short, but you know, at least I gave it a shot. It's really good for Suzuki, the new bike, going first and second. The whole Yoshimura Suzuki crew's been working a lot of hours getting this thing ready for the race, so glad to pay them off for first and second, and good way to start the season. So thanks to Suzuki, Yoshimura, my crew, Arai Helmets, Alpine Star Leathers, Monster Energy, and my family.
All right, well, thanks, Roger. Congratulations.
Roger Hayden definitely not done with this season. He's got a long way to go, and he wants to fight and fight and fight.
I love it.
You know what,
He said,
Jason?
I took a shot.
Yeah, he did. And when we get to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, by the way, he wants to be faster than his brother, Nicky Hayden, in the World Superbike. So the man has got goals.
Got goals.
Got
you know,
goals.
When you look at what Raj said, though, he wanted to take a shot. But we said 3 laps from the end, I said he's got a great run on him, and then he backed off.
Yeah.
He was testing it, but that was his shot. He just didn't quite get out that straightaway as good as Tony did on that last lap. And let's get back down to Hannah, who's got our race winner.
All right, guys, I am here with our first place finisher, Tony Elias. Tony, Roger, your teammate, really gave you a run for your money, but you managed to stay out in front of him for the end of the race there. How are you feeling right now?
I feel so happy because it's the first victory for Suzuki with this bike. We did a great job, long work. And I was trying to open the gap, but looks sometimes take little gap, and that creates me, okay, continue pushing, but always Roger give me a good answer, always was there. And then I decide to, continue the rhythm, but save my condition a little bit. I had chatter since the first lap. The chatter increased more and more. Then I was playing with the map, reduce the engine brake, trying to reduce this chatter, and also trying to play with the traction control, because the tires after 6-7 laps drop a lot, drop for everybody, but it was really difficult. But anyway, we are happy. For today, the work is done. We have another one tomorrow, and continue working, pushing, and will be even more difficult tomorrow.
Now, yesterday when we spoke, you said you had a couple of different strategies. Obviously, the weather's much different today. It's going to be different again tomorrow. You're going to change up your strategy for that as well.
No, always 3 strategies. Sometimes the first one work. If it doesn't work the first one, try the second one. If it doesn't work the third one, then let's play until the end. And yeah, today I did all 3 strategies, but finally Roger gave me a good surprise in the last braking area. Then, well, he braked too late and I could pass him, but the most important thing is 25 points, and my team and Suzuki need this.
Well, congratulations to you. Let's see if Tony can do it again tomorrow. Back to you guys.
Well, let's explain why Raj did that. We were looking up, Greg and I here are looking up, the last lap speed down the back straightaway for Roger Hayden was 192.2 mile an hour. And to put that in perspective, Tony Elias was 185. So 7 mile an hour difference down the back straightaway on the last lap. That's why Raj couldn't get his bike slowed down. But again, had he got out of that last corner with Tony, right like he had 3 laps prior, he would have been able to get by him sooner down that back straightaway and wouldn't have created so much speed when he got down there in the braking zone.
A quick hug from his sister after his victory. 192.29 miles an hour out of a Superbike here at Circuit of the Americas. That is massively impressive. Of course, there's 2 podiums to be had, but here is the overall results as Toni Elias gets victory over Roger Hayden, 1.7 seconds. I think Roger was actually lucky to get that bike slowed down, and on the track, he was going so fast. Then Bobby Fong drifted back to 10 seconds, but he still had another 10-second advantage over the second place finisher in the Superstock 1000 class, Matthew Skoltz. Jake Gagne in 5th. Lewis Heron, Cam Beaubier worked his way up to 8th spot, and then Danny Eslick continues to struggle a little bit on that TOBC Racing Yamaha R1. They'll get that sorted out, I'm sure, during the course of the year, as they had a bit of a miserable off-season testing with that motorcycle, and some unfortunate incidents happened so far this weekend. But a good bit of laps in and a lot of data to take tonight back to the crew so they can take a look at it. Here are the standings in the Riders' Championship. As you can see, Toni Elias with 25 points and on back. Now this is the overall. So this is for all the riders combined, as Roger, Bobby, and Matthew Skoltz, Jake Gagne, and so on. But there's an entirely other championship, a different championship, which is known as the Pizzazz Superstock 1000 class. And that's denoted by those red backing number plates with those white numbers. So congratulations to Suzuki with their new GSXR 1000 RR, their maiden race in Moto America, and they do it with a 1-2 finish. We'll take a break on beIN Sports. We have more coming up from Circuit of the Americas, so don't go anywhere. All right. Moto America on beIN Sports was presented by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires, the only motorcycle tire designed, tested, and made in America for how you ride. And powered by Kawasaki, let the good times roll. So that is a Superbike, Motul Superbike class in the Pizzazz Superstock 1000 race. And Hannah is down with our second place finisher in Superstock 1000, Yamalube Westby Racing's Matthew Skoltz.
That's right, guys. I'm here with Matthew Skoltz. Matthew, it is your second season in Moto America in the United States. First podium of the season. How did you do it? Tell us what's going through your mind right now.
Yeah, you know, the preseason was really, really difficult for us, but we just put our heads down and we just worked hard. And, you know, testing here wasn't the easiest, you know, but we, you know, knew that the overall race pace would have been decent for us. So the actual start wasn't great, you know. I think I was battling with Cam, Jake, Gagne, a few guys, but managed towards the end just to pull a slight gap and come away with second out of the Superstock category, which I'm really, really happy with. And thank you so much to the Yamalube Westby guys. It's really, really awesome to be back up here and to have a podium on the first race for the season.
All right, thank you so much, and best of luck to you for the rest of the season, guys.
All right, thanks. Congratulations to Matthew and that team. A job well done. And so a good look at Parc Ferme here on a MotoGP weekend. Nice slow motion shot of that beautiful Yamalube Westby Racing. Number 11, he was 00 last year. So update your brain on Matthew Skoltz's number when you come out to a Moto America race this season. We expect to see all of you come on out and check out this amazing race action as Matthew Skoltz from South Africa. That's the accent. So that'll do it for us here, Circuit of the Americas for today. Make sure you check out beINSports.com for our coverage for tomorrow. It'll be live on Connect. We have MotoGP, we have Superbike race number 2, and all that will be after El Clasico. So that'll do it for today from Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. The Championship of Texas round number 1 for the Superbikes is in the books. Join us tomorrow for race number 2. It promises to be more exciting than today. So for Jason Pridmore and for Hannah Lope, I'm Greg White. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good night. and enjoy the racing.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everyone in the truck.
Thank you, guys.
Good show. Really good effort. Good, good job, everyone.
Yeah.
Like,